topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show. We are here today, and we've got an amazing show for you, one of our best experts. We normally talk about weight loss or hormone replacement, and we have the expert on that with Dr. Taylor, but we're going to be talking about supplements today because supplements also play an important part because we can't always get the right vitamins in our body, and supplements play such an important part. But a lot of us don't know what the supplements are. So let me introduce you. A lot of you already know who he is, Dr. Eldred Taylor of Taylor Medical Group. Good morning, Dr. Taylor.
Hello, good morning. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing fine. I'm so glad you chose supplements as a topic today because, there's so many people who don't really understand what supplements do. And even I've noticed that when you go into some of these stores like GNC, they just hire salespeople. They don't really know what the supplements for. And Dr. Taylor, you are a doctor. You're a well-respected doctor. But before we start talking about supplements, tell people about your practice.
Well, the name of my practice is Taylor Medical Group. It's actually myself and my wife. We practice together. We've been practicing together for about 15 years now. And I'm originally trained as an obstetrician gynecologist. And my wife is trained in family practice and psychiatry, but we've been physicians for over 30 years now. First 15 years, we did what we were trained in. The next 15, 16 years, we've been practicing what we call functional medicine. And the way I like to explain it, we try to help people to function as well as possible for as long as possible. And in order to make the body function, you have to make sure that it has a good supply of everything that it needs to function. And where we should be getting it through our food, a lot of times, again, that doesn't do it. So that's why we're going to talk about supplements today. But we do IV vitamin therapy. We do hormone replacement therapy. We do with weight loss. We deal with adjunctive therapy for cancer patients to help them to be able to get through their treatments and survive them and be able to have a healthy life after that cancer diagnosis. So we do a lot of things in our office, but it's all about helping people live as healthy as possible for as long as possible.
I got to tell everybody, Dr. Taylor, we did a show together on plant-based diet, which you and your wife are a very big subscriber to, and it was one of our biggest shows. And someone wrote me to ask you if you've ever heard of a microbiotic diet.
Yeah, that is making sure you have, as much as I understand, it's making sure that you have enough of each particular vitamin and mineral, and you have the right amount of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. The thing that you hear about with a plant-based, a whole food plant-based diet, you're going to automatically get the right combination of all of those. Nature has already kind of put that normal combination together. So that's what whole-based plant-based whole food diets are. It's just, instead of being so meticulous about it, like fruits. Fruits have sugar in it, but they also have fiber in it. So the fiber makes it where you don't absorb the sugar as fast. It doesn't raise your insulin levels. So it's much different than actually eating refined sugar or products that have refined sugar. So nature kind of makes the right combination together so that it produces the right result when you eat that food. But you got to make sure it's not genetically modified food. That's why, to tell you, I started a garden, so I know exactly where a lot of my fruits and vegetables. I don't grow everything, but things that I eat a lot, I decided I'm going to grow them myself, because you don't know what pesticides have been on it. You don't know if it says organic, is it really organic? But anyway, that's the type of diet. But again, I'm a simple guy. I don't want to do a whole lot of calculations when I eat. I just want to eat.
I hear that. Well, let's get into supplements. I'm going to give you some supplements, and I want you to tell the people about what the supplement does. Like, there's digestive enzymes out there. Tell me about that.
Okay. So digestive enzymes, there's lipases, elastases. What it is, it allows you to fully digest your food. So, let's say for a hamburger, the hamburger in and of itself is of really no use to you. You've got to have proteases that break down the proteins into amino acids. You've got to be able to break down the sugars into glucose and fructose. You've got to be able to break down the fat into cholesterol, triglycerides, whatever. So if you can't fully digest that hamburger, you're not getting all the nutrition out of it. So as you get older, you produce less digestive enzymes, and you definitely produce less stomach acid. And that's why so many people on Prilosec and all that, it's not because they don't have enough acid. It's because it's not because they have too much acid. It's because they don't have enough acid, and that food is sitting there, and then you get that reflux. So with digestive enzymes, you also want to have what we call betaine hydrochloric acid. Now that sounds awful, but you need to add more acid to the stomach. As you get older, the acid levels go down and the digestive enzymes go down. So you end up getting a lot of bloating, you get burping, you get reflux. So you actually want to increase acid in your stomach and increase your ability to digest your food. So digestive enzymes are very important as you get older. Across the board, if you're over 50, your stomach is producing less stomach acid. So it makes it very hard for you to particularly digest proteins. So that's what digestive enzymes do. So you can get the full nutritional value out of the foods that you're eating.
So if you have acid reflux, you would not want to take a digestive enzyme?
No, you do.
You do.
Yeah. See, the Prilosec and all of these products to decrease stomach acid,
yes,
is really trying to kill the symptom, but it's not really helping the problem. It's really because you don't have enough acid in your stomach, so the food is not getting fully digested. You get bloating, you get reflux because it's just sitting in the stomach, and now that acid is going to go toward the path of least resistance, which is up instead of down. So you actually want to add digestive enzymes and add acid. Even something simple as taking apple cider vinegar, put it in the water when you drink, with your meal, that increases stomach acid. Putting lemon in your water increases digestion. Or you can actually take digestive enzymes that have hydrochloric acid in it. So I've gotten a lot of people now, Prilosec and all of these acid lowering products, on the label, it says you shouldn't take it for more than 2 weeks. But there's people who've been on it for 20 years. And what they do, they are decreasing their ability to digest their food, and especially to be able to digest and to absorb proteins. These Prilosec and these other, I don't mean to jump on Prilosec, but any of these H2 blockers, they have been shown to increase the risk of dementia because amino acids are needed to make neurotransmitters, and neurotransmitters are what transmit messages between neurons or brain cells. So you definitely do not want to be on these acid blockers for a long time.
Wow, interesting. I actually have acid reflux, and I forgot which pill I take. And my doctor, who I don't have a lot of faith in anymore, told me to take one every day. And from what you're saying, that's not exactly good for me. I should be taking.
No.
Oh my gosh.
You're
so much.
let me tell you another reason why. Your stomach is supposed to have acid in it. I mean, that's how God made it. Supposed to have acid in it. Not only does it decrease your ability to break down proteins, but also the acid in the stomach is there to protect you from any kind of bacteria or whatever might be in the food, from the kitchen, a dirty kitchen or whatever. So that acid is there to kill bacteria, to kill fungi, whatever. So it's more likely you're going to have GI infections if you're on a medication like that. So that acid is there for a reason. I tell you, God didn't make a mistake by putting acid in your stomach. It's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a pH of around 2 or 3. And so it's highly, highly acidic. And that's why it burns when it comes back up.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
So,
go. Let's go to probiotics. Tell us about that supplement.
All right. So probiotics, those are good bacteria. And you are really a home. There are more bacteria in your body than you have cells in your body. So actually the bacteria are using you as a home instead of, the other way around. So what do probiotics do? Well, let's say, why would you need them? Because we are so quick to take antibiotics, especially as children. They're on antibiotics for their earaches and their sore throats. And antibiotics don't just kill the bad bacteria, they also kill the good bacteria. And good bacteria, you have to have the right kind and amount of bacteria in your gut in order for your body to produce digestive enzymes. So those two are connected. The bacteria in your gut, they help with your mood. They help to regulate the immune system. They help you to break down and digest food. They help to repair the lining of the gut so you don't have something called leaky gut. It also helps with peristalsis. I will tell you that probably 70% of Americans are constipated. They only have a bowel movement every other day. Even a bowel movement once a day is considered to be low transit time or constipation. So probiotics help with peristalsis. And peristalsis, your gut should work like a toothpaste tube where, it starts at the top and it squeezes and then you get the stool at the bottom. But if you don't have the right bacteria, that peristalsis doesn't work. So food sits there, you get constipated. And now when you're constipated, you begin to absorb some of the waste products or some of the toxic chemicals or whatever you might be exposed to, or what should be going out actually gets reabsorbed. And now they can cause toxicity in you, which can cause all kinds of problems. So probiotics are very important. You need to make sure you're taking a probiotic that has at least 10 strains of bacteria in it. And this thing called the microbiome, the environment. So just taking one probiotic, one bacteria is not good. It's about these colonies of bacteria that form what they call a microbiome. And also probiotics are very important. And the right kind and the balance of probiotics is important with weight loss. So if you're having trouble with your weight and you're constipated, probiotics can help because, one, they're going to get your bowels moving, and also that fiber, increase in fiber production is going to help you with weight loss also.
Dr. Taylor, don't you formulate supplements also? Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. We have a company called Taylor MD Formulations, and I'll tell you how that came about. Early on when I started doing this, I went all over the country and all over the world teaching you about bioidentical hormones and stress and whatever. So a lot of supplement companies wanted me to speak for them because if I was talking about this, it would be connected with some of their supplements. But what I saw is that a lot of these supplement companies had single products like B12, vitamin C, whatever. It was these single products. So in order for a patient to be able to really benefit from it, they had to take like 10 to 12 supplements. And I'm like, that is very hard to convince a patient to do, and they're not going to do it long term. They're not going to take 10 pills long term. So what we found out is that you can take smaller amounts of several different supplements that all are working toward helping with gut function or working toward helping with brain function. You can use small amounts, combine them, put them in one or two things, or put it in a powder that you shake and drink or whatever. And they are more effective, and primarily they're more effective because it's more likely the patient's going to do it. Nothing's as effective if you don't do it. So we kind of came to the conclusion that most patients will do 2 to 3 things on a consistent basis. So we try to make sure that we don't ask a patient to do more than that, and we make sure that they are going to feel a difference quickly if they take our supplements. So we have adrenal supplements, which combine probably 6 or 7 different things, but it's very effective. We have GI or gut supplements, one called Green Med, that's a powder that has glutamine and has all of these greens in it to help repair the lining of the gut. So that's why we call it Taylor MD formulations, because actually my wife formulated all of these, and we've used them in our practice for over 10 years, and we use them because we know they work. Patients come back and get it. We see the patients, year after year, or however often they come in, and they purchase the products. But you can purchase them online, but we say they're clinically approved because we've been using them, and we use them exclusively in our practice, and we've been doing it for over 10 years. And so we really believe in the products.
Tell us about your B12 product.
Well, it's really something called Stress B. It's B12 and the other B vitamins in it. And the reason why I particularly put B12 as one of the things we're going to talk about, because we talked about a plant-based diet. So the one vitamin that you may not be able to get with a plant-based diet is B12, because B12 you do find abundantly in red meat. So B12 is important. It's very important for energy production. It's important for blood cell production and making the blood cells the right size and be able to carry oxygen. So the reason why I put B12 in there is because I've been talking about plant-based diets. And so I think I need to talk about that's the one thing that you may want to supplement if you decide to do a plant-based diet. But all the B vitamins are important. We have a product called Stress B. The B vitamins are very important in energy production. So if you're feeling fatigued, B12 is, all the B vitamins are important in energy production.
Now, I got it. This next supplement I know is so very important. In fact, when I had COVID, my doctor wanted me to load up on vitamin D. Yeah,
vitamin D is very important. Very important for the immune system. You're right. When COVID was first, running rampant and there was no vaccinations and, everybody was locked in, we were really promoting vitamin D and probiotics. Probiotics and vitamin D are very important to support the immune system. So we were telling, hey, look, the only defense you have is to make sure your body can ward off this virus. So the reason why a lot of people are going to need supplemental vitamin D is that we are not exposed to the sun on a consistent basis. Now, people worried about skin cancer, and so they cover up and, whatever. You're supposed to have 20 minutes of direct sunlight, and it's supposed to be over at least 50% of your body. It's either 50 or 60% of your body for 20 minutes. Nobody really does that on a daily basis. So you'll find that most people are low in vitamin D. We check vitamin D levels here, and I can tell you probably 20% of people will have normal vitamin D if they are not on a vitamin D supplement or taking vitamin D injections or whatever. But vitamin D is important in cancer prevention. It's definitely connected with prostate cancer. It can be connected with other cancers that have a hormonal base. So yeah, vitamin D is very important. And we just don't need to be as scared of the sun as we've become. It's important to protect yourself, but you do need some exposure to the sun in order to get natural vitamin D. But we hardly ever see a normal vitamin D level on people who aren't at least occasionally taking a vitamin D supplement.
Dr. Taylor, how powerful is a multivitamin? And there's so many different types of vitamins in a multivitamin. I mean, do you get enough vitamins with a multivitamin?
This is what I will tell you. Nothing can replace a good diet. So if you're going to eat potato chips and candy and sodas and think a multivitamin is going to do it, it's not. Multivitamins are good to take as just a fail-safe. I mean, it's just a.
At least you get something.
Yeah. It's a little bit like, taking sand to the beach. It may help, but nothing beats a good diet. And you can't have a bad diet and take a multivitamin and think everything is going to be fine. So I'm not against it, but you don't need to think that that's going to, that's going to take the place of a good diet.
We just got a text in from a viewer. How much vitamin C do you need when you have a cold?
Well, oral vitamin C is tricky. One, your gut is only able to absorb about 20 to 30% of whatever you take. Okay. So, and the more you take at one time, the percentage that your body can absorb goes down. So I'm telling you that. Yeah. And, that's just the way your gut is. I'm not sure. So let's say you take 1,000 milligrams. It's better for you to take 1,000 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day than to take 3,000 milligrams at one time. You're going to get more absorption by spreading that out than you are taking a lot at once. So we usually tell patients that just as a preventative medicine, a preventative treatment, that you ought to take a couple of thousand milligrams a day, but separate it out. Okay. So maybe you take it at breakfast and take it at dinner. You're probably going to need to add another 1,000 if you have a cold. Now, if you are able and you are really sick, you need to get back to work or school or whatever, the best way to try and get better if you have a cold or the flu is IV vitamin C, because now you can get big doses that go right into the bloodstream and you're not dependent upon your gut. And I know we're talking about supplements, but I'll tell you, the reason why I even got into IV vitamin C supplementation is that my daughter, when she was in middle school, would get strep throat and be very sick and miss school for a week. We just knew every year it was going to happen. So we decided that we needed to try and stop that trend. So I guess she may have been in the 8th grade. We convinced her to let us give her an IV of vitamin C. So after a day or so, she was feeling sick. We gave her the IV vitamin C. The next day she was feeling better. The next day she was in school. So from then on, whenever she gets sick or even close to being sick, IV vitamin C, I'm telling you, she has probably not missed, when she was in high school or whatever, probably didn't miss more than a day of school each year she was in. So I'm a big IV vitamin C proponent if you have a serious, any type of significant viral or bacterial infection. it can definitely cut the time that your recovery time. It can really cut it in half or more.
Wow, this is a great question. It's not necessarily about supplements, but a viewer wants to know, is it really true baby aspirin can keep you from having a heart attack?
Well, the reason why the baby aspirin is an anticoagulant. It's a mild anticoagulant. So what that means is it keeps your blood from clotting. So heart attacks can happen if you have a clot in one of the blood vessels that are supplying the heart muscle. And if it's not getting enough blood supply, that's why you get chest pain, just like you get pain in your calf if you're running and you're not getting enough oxygen. So the baby aspirin is it's a mild anticoagulant. You know, you've heard of people who are on blood thinners who've had blood clots in their legs. That's a strong anticoagulant that can cause excessive bleeding if they get cut or they get in an accident or whatever. So the baby aspirin can help with that type of heart attack. But there's other types of heart attacks. You can actually have spasms in the blood vessels that go to the heart. Now that's a whole different, etiology for the heart attack. But if you are prone to clotting, if you had a previous heart attack due to a clot, then yeah, you should take a baby aspirin. But I don't really, recommend if you don't have a significant risk factor for a heart attack.
The last one, which is probably the most advertised on radio and TV, always talking about testosterone. What about hormones?
Okay, so hormones, you can't get testosterone and all these things over the counter. But what you can do, there are supplements that can help with hormone balance. Now, I'll tell you the one hormone, cortisol, that screws up all hormones. And we can talk about supplements that may help with cortisol. But there's a supplement called, there's a chemical, I guess, that's found in broccoli called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane helps estrogen to be metabolized in a safe manner, in an anti-cancer type manner. So sulforaphane is very important. We have it in a supplement called Latex to help women to be able to metabolize estrogen that their own body is making too much of, or they're being exposed to through the environment. It helps you to metabolize estrogen. There's also a herb called chasteberries that is in the supplement, and chasteberries help to increase a woman's progesterone production. And if you've heard any of our other videos or our podcasts, the balance between estrogen and progesterone are very important in women, where estrogen can cause normal and abnormal growth, and progesterone can protect the women against that. So that supplement is trying to bring estrogen levels down or put them in a safer form, and to bring progesterone levels up. So it helps with hormone balance in women. Also sulforaphane, because believe it or not, especially when men are overweight, they can convert a lot of testosterone into estrogen. And so sulforaphane can help with that situation also. So those are 2 or 3 things that can help maintain hormone balance without necessarily having to take hormones.
I'm going to get this text in. Dr. Taylor, what a wonderful show. This must be one of your cousins calling. No,
yeah, probably.
No, what do you suggest if you have difficulty sleeping? Are there supplements out there that can help you get sleep?
Yeah. We have, I'll tell you, our most popular supplement that we have is something called Serene Calm. Serene Calm, the primary ingredient in there is something called phosphatidylserine. And phosphatidylserine helps to lower cortisol levels. It tells the brain to stop putting out so much cortisol. And you put out a lot of cortisol at night when you're worried or anxious, or you've been worried about something for a long time. So phosphatidylserine helps to lower cortisol levels or lower the stress hormone. Also, we have a supplement. Also in there is I think is something called L-theanine. L-theanine helps to calm the brain down. It helps to convert beta waves, which are very scattered waves, into more organized alpha waves. And a lot of people say they can't go to sleep because they can't turn their mind off. And that's what the L-theanine helps you to do, is to help you to be more focused. A lot of times you go to bed and you're thinking about 40 things that you need to do the next day. Well, the L-theanine helps to consolidate that and say, hey, look, I can only do one thing at a time. Let me go to sleep or whatever. So we have a supplement called Sleep Easy and then Serene Calm. Because sleep is a very big problem in the United States, and nothing gets better if a person doesn't sleep. There's no way for them to repair themselves. They can't even utilize the nutrients that they have taken in during the day to help repair the body or help to increase energy production if you don't sleep. So if a patient says they can't sleep, that's always the number one priority in our office, is how can we help them to sleep? Is it too much cortisol? Are their hormones out of balance? What's going on? And then once we can solve the sleep problem, then we can handle the other problems.
Tell people how they can order your supplements.
The best way to order is go to TaylorMDFormulations.com, TaylorMDFormulations.com. And on their website, we have a lot of information. This is just the tip of the iceberg, what I've been talking about this morning or afternoon, whenever we're watching this. But on there, if my wife, she puts a article out at least once a week. There's a ton of information about how supplements work. How do you know if you need this or that? So TaylorMDFormulations.com is how you can get that information and order any products that you think you might need. And you can even email us and say, do you think this is the right thing? Should I go get testing first, or what should I do? So, we try to help you make a good decision and not be like the person at GNC and try and sell you everything. Try and sell you everything on the website. We know that that's being short-sighted, but if we can help you to find something that really helps you, you'll come back or you'll tell somebody else, this product really helped.
And Dr. Taylor, for those of you out of town, does do telemedicine. He works with people with weight loss, hormone replacement. But if you'd like to order any of the supplements we've talked about today, TaylorMDFormulations.com. Dr. Taylor, you're my favorite. Dr. Taylor's with us twice a month, and we're even going to have his daughter come on one of our shows and talk about plant-based diet along with Dr. Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We look forward to it, Steve.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. See you.
That was Dr. Taylor. He is wonderful. He went to one of the finest medical schools in Emory, and I just have so much faith in him. And we will be back with you again next week, same time, same station, with more Ask the Experts. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.